So let's start with our meditation. So take your seat, whatever that might be. Yeah. And just settle in to your meditation seat, whatever that might be. Sometimes we say taking a few moments to arrive. Maybe you've been busy and you just got on. I know I was rushing around to get here on time. Welcome to those arriving now. I always like to start the meditation practice with connecting with your intention to be here. Connecting with some appreciation for yourself for carving out this time. Taking time to center, to wake up. To feel whatever you can in the sense of collective presence, being in the presence of others who value this practice. Noticing your body. Noticing you have a body sitting. Feeling the buttocks against the chair. So that in meditation practice, we're receiving what's already here, becoming more present with what's here. In particular, present with the body. You might feel the body breathing. Particular action that goes on all the time. We're generally not aware of it. So bringing that to awareness now. There's a body sitting, and this body is breathing. Feeling how the breath moves in the body. Some say in this practice, when there's suffering in our lives, that we're believing something that's not true. You might see how that resonates with you or not. So if you feel settled enough in this body breathing, you might bring to mind a difficult story or situation in your life. Something that might be troubling that tends to repeat in your mind. Maybe it's a story about yourself. something that you believe about yourself that's upsetting. If many stories or beliefs about yourself come up, pick just one for now. You might imagine if it's a story or memory where the story took place, when in time. Where you were, perhaps recalling images of the setting or words that were said. Notice the feeling in the body as you bring this up. Notice the sensations. Notice the emotion or emotions. Is there anger, sadness, fear? And as you remember this story and get in touch with the sensations in the body, the feelings that come up around this, you might ask yourself, what are you believing? What are you believing, particularly about yourself? Say a core belief of, I'm not good enough, or something's wrong with me. I need to be different. I'm not wanted. I'm not smart enough. Notice what comes up for you. How painful it is to believe this about yourself. How is this negative self-belief felt in the body? What happens on the inside? In your heart space, your belly, in your feet and hands. We all have these negative self-beliefs that we repeat to ourselves. I need to be different. I'm flawed. You might ask yourself now, how has living with this belief affected relating with others? Or how has living with this belief affected the unfolding of your life? How many life moments have been filled with this belief? This, perhaps this very deep sense of vulnerability. How this negative core belief about yourself has created more separation in your life, mistrust, fear of doing what you really wanted to do or taking risks. Witnessing your own suffering around this belief. Now, being the witness might help to transform it or somehow make it less believable. You might ask yourself now, is this negative belief about myself, is it really true? Is it really true I'm not good enough? Is it really true I haven't done enough with my life? That I don't belong? And some teachers in this guided practice ask the question again, is it really, really true? Or as some say, it feels real, but it's not true. In our practices of mindfulness, awakening, meditation, we seek the truth. What are the parts of you that are most suffering? What do those parts need to feel, remember, or trust? Have others loved you? Do you care for yourself? Do you care for your suffering? Have compassion for it? Ways that you've been hurt? What's the truth of who you really are? And this question now, that can be really transformative. What would your life be like without this belief? Without a story of unworthiness in whatever form that manifests? What would your life be like? If you didn't believe this negative belief about yourself? Would you be able to take more risks, have more confidence? Stay centered when things don't go the way you want them to. Who would you be without this belief? Without this belief of some unworthiness? Who would you be without it? Taking time to really feel your way through this. Feeling your way through in the body, in the heart. Deeply caring for all this suffering. We'll take a few moments now in silence to contemplate, reflect. Is this belief in your unworthiness, is that really true? Is that who you really are? And who would you be? What would be happening if you didn't believe that? And I'd like to share with you this poem by Denise Lowe. Called Walking with My Delaware Grandfather. Walking home, I feel a presence following and realize he is always there. That native man with coal black hair who is my grandfather. In my first memories, he is present, mostly wordless, resident in the house where I was born. My mother shows him the cleft in my chin, identical to his. I am swaddled and blinking in the kitchen light. So we are introduced. We never part. Sometimes I forget he lodges in my house still, the bone house where my heart breaks. I carry his mother's framework, a sturdy structure. I learn his birthright. I hear his mother's teachings through what my mother said of her. She kept a pot of stew on the stove all day for anyone to eat. She never went to church, but said you could be a good person anyway. She fed hobos during the 30s. Her back porch a regular stopover. Every person has rights, no matter what color. Be respectful. This son of hers, my grandfather, still walks the streets with me. Some twist of blood and heart and heat still spark across the time bridge. Here, listen. Air draws through these lungs made from his. His blood still pulses through his hand. And I want to correct a word I had in here instead of heartbreak. It's heartbeats, and I'll read this line. Sometimes I forget he lodges in my house still, the bone house where my heart beats. And if it's in your practice to bring your palms together in front of your chest, bowing to your own efforts today, at doing this practice of awakening, of feeling your suffering and awakening out of it. Awakening out of this trance of not believing in yourself in some way. Awakening, perhaps, even if just a little, from the trance of suffering, clinging, aversion, thinking you need to be more in whatever way. seeing this as our common humanity in the cultures we're raised in. Caring for ourselves helps us to care for each other, helps us to widen the circle of care, so that all beings matter. And then whenever you're ready, feel free to drop your hands, open your eyes. Let yourself move around. Let yourself feel the impact of what you've just offered to yourself.